Hey, I know the sign says we're open. No one's ever come in this early before.
Oh, well, I was here last night.
Last night, huh? Let me ask you something. You see anybody vandalizing the bathroom?
Jeez, no, sir. I don't use the bathroom. You know, ever since 9/11.
That doesn't even make sense.
Listen, I'm looking for my credit card.
Wild night, huh?
Nothing out of the ordinary. You didn't happen to find a wallet, did you?
No. Sam, did you find a wallet last night?
What's it look like?
It's red, white, and blue.
No, I ain't seen it.
What about a set of keys?
No.
Cell phone?
Sorry.
EpiPen? You know those coupons for free fries from McDonald's that people give away for Halloween?
Yeah.
Did you find 2 of those?
Nah. I do got a few credit cards here.
Mine is the Russell Simmons prepaid debit card.
This one?
Yeah, not a lot of people have those. You gotta have a credit score of at least 300 or less.
Give me a sec, I'll just run this through for you.
Well, I've already got my shoes on and everything. Just leave it open.
David, what's going on? This is your Uncle Chuck. I miss you. What about the oven? Do we still have that one I tried to put you in? I'm sorry, forgive me. I still love you.
Merry Christmas, everybody, and welcome to another magical edition of everybody's favorite videotaped Cry for Help, the Low Budget Show with Damon Millard. You're not going to believe this shit. I'm Damon Millard. You joined us for a good one. On today's show, we have actor, comedian Michael Gull. Michael Gull stops by. He tells us about his latest film project that's been in the works for 6 years. 6 years. And it's getting released next month. Isn't that exciting? I think that's exciting. Also, on today's show, we have a Christmas-themed edition of Damon's Daily 10. That's where I take 10 things and I put them on a list. You like 10 things? We'll probably talk about some other shit. Actually, I guarantee we'll talk about some other shit. Get a hold of me. It's Damon at DamonMillard.com. Send me a message. Tell me about your Christmas. Did you get what you wanted? Did you find everything in your stockings? You're Jewish? Oh, that's okay. Subscribe to the Low Budget Show. Doesn't cost anything. You can just hit subscribe right now for free. Right here. Hit the little bell button so you're notified when the new shows come out. Seriously, I could use your help. Why don't you tell some friends about the show? I don't know if you've noticed this. There's only 107 subscribers. I have some hardcore fans, though. They hit me up every week asking when their show's going to come out. And I'm always like, next week. I always say next week because that gives me a week to prepare my answer for the next time they ask me. It's a pretty good system. I don't know. Tell some friends about the show. I'm begging you. That could be your Christmas gift to me. Hey, come on. You got to have like a friend or two who might want to watch the show. What do you think, huh? We could turn this into a pyramid scheme. For every 8 subscribers you give me, I'll give you 4 back. It's fucking flawless. No, I'm not kidding. I need subscribers. Help me out. I promised that I would do a pizza party for the 100 first subscribers, but I lied. Now we got to get 200 subscribers. If we get 200 subscribers, I'll actually go through with the pizza party situation. I only had 2 carbs in all of 2020. This would be a big deal if I actually put up for some pizza and we all fucking manged on it, huh? Why did I turn into like a fucking movie gangster there? What was that? Moving on. Where are we so far? We talked Michael Gull's coming up. You're going to want to watch that. The Christmas Daily 10 is coming up. Did you subscribe? And hit the bell thing. Send me a message. Damon at DamonMillard.com. All right, cool. So here we go. What's up with me? I'm in North Carolina right now. Me and my girlfriend, we came down, visit her dad for the holidays. We don't care. It's Christmas, obviously. Look at this hat. Jesus wasn't even Christian. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people are like, yeah, he was. And then you got to be like, no, he wasn't. And then you end up in a fist fight with your stepdad. He wasn't. He was Jewish. He never actually got to celebrate Christmas. Very sad for Jesus. But these hats came about. Jesus would celebrate his birthday, which became Christmas as we know it. And what would happen, these hats, what's known scientifically as the Santa hat, was a game that Jesus would play. Like, whoever the drunkest person at the party was would have to wear this dorky hat. And they would walk around with this hat on, and that's how you knew who the drunkest guy was. And the cool thing was, the lead would change sometimes. Sometimes, it would go from Matthew to Peter, and he would have to wear the hat because he'd be all jacked up on Israeli wine. It's a fact. It's just religion. We're down here in North Carolina, and there's this tradition down here. We always go and we have Christmas brunch at the neighbor's house. I'm always uncomfortable at these things. I got stuck in this conversation with the guy there for like 15 minutes, and he kept telling me about his job. He just kept telling me how busy he was and all that stuff. And the whole time, I never knew what he did for a living. Like, not at all. And it was like way too late into the conversation to ask him. And I've met him like 5 or 6 times, so it's like I should know what he does for a living by now, but I had no clue. I had to like speak in all generalities. Generalities. Because the whole time I'm like, yeah. I kept going like, in your line of work, I can see that. You know what I mean? At some point, I'm pretty sure he figured it out because he was like, I'm in printing. And I was like, yeah, of course you're in printing, I'm having a good time. I'm really on like this crash diet thing that I've created. Just like something I decided works. Basically, I starve myself and then I don't eat carbs. So do those 2 things, it works. But I'm really letting myself go down here. I'm having cake and pierogies, that and borscht. We were eating some borscht. All kinds of stuff. I'm bloated right now. When you think of Christmas, you don't think of these foods. But my girlfriend's family is Polish, so doing the Polish stuff. There was like this weird wafer bread that you can't let it touch the ground or something. I don't know. It was weird. And then like at the end of dinner, someone had a quarter under their plate, and like that means you're gonna be rich. And I don't know. I guess a quarter's rich to. That can't make the episode. But yeah, we were doing all this stuff. And so we get to talking about like Polish beliefs and stuff. And they have this, superstition, or I don't know. They believe that like at the stroke of midnight on Christmas Eve, that animals talk. I've heard them talk about this like year after year. I don't want my dog to like get that power like around other people. You know what I mean? So we're hanging out. It's like midnight. Boom, my dog starts talking, but there's other people around, and my dog Cindy's just like, Damon, you don't ever take me out on walks and stuff. You neglect me, bro. I need more walks. So be careful if you neglect your animal. Make sure at the stroke of midnight they're like locked in a cage. You know what I mean? It's been a rough week, guys. I'm doing my best. I'm just doing the best I can. And we always get little trinkets for everybody. And I had to unwrap a present. And I realized probably in the top 3 things that I hate in the whole world, like hate the most, is opening up a present in front of other people while they watch you. Oh, it's so torturous. You know what I mean? I know I'm not reacting right. Like I don't know what other people want from me. Like what reaction, like if it's socks or something, I don't know what to do. Like, yeah, I always feel like an imposter, so I'm like, oh, yay, even if I like it, So it's like, for me, it's one of the most torturous things. I'm uncomfortable all the time at the holidays, all the time. Yeah, so let's do this. Christmas edition of Damon's Daily 10. You guys ready? Damon's Daily 10. If you don't know, Damon's Daily 10 is just like a list of 10 things, right? Like if you like 10 things, this is for you. Like if you like 8 things, no. If you like 11 things, But this is 10 things did I put on a list? Here we go. You ready? Number 10, eggnog. Man, you can get ripped up off of eggnog. Eggnog is actually kind of a safety holiday beverage because you get full before you get wasted. You just have to drink through that. You can get there. You can do it. Number 9 is tinsel. Remember tinsel? Ethel had a tree that was all tinsel. We had a raggedy artificial tree that got worse and worse every year, and so we had to like fill in the bald spots with just more and more tinsel. What happened to tinsel? Everybody's got like these fucking elegant trees that are just like white with like red bulbs. That's bullshit. Let's bring tinsel back to save the day. Number 8 is gift bags. Sometimes the bag costs more than the gift. Number 7, the elf on Rudolph who just wanted to be a dentist. Remember that dude? He just wanted to be a fucking dentist. Let the guy be a dentist. I always thought it was a metaphor for homosexuality. I think so. I think that was the subtext of that character. Let the guy be a dentist, if you know what I mean. Let dentists get married, give them all the rights they deserve. Number 6, blaming the holidays for your lack of drive and poor willpower. Y'all hearing this fucking bird ruining the daily tent? There's a fucking bird right outside this window heckling us. He only likes 8 things. Number 5, Santa in a Hawaiian shirt. That's cool. That's number 5. Number 4, when you get forced to go to a stranger's house for a party or something, and you get there and everybody's wearing nice clothes like suits and dresses, and you're in an Iron Maiden t-shirt, and they make you take your shoes off at the door, but your feet stink, and then someone hands you a present and you're like, what the fuck? I didn't know we had to bring gifts to this thing. What's that all about? Number 3, the Charlie Brown Christmas special. Number 2, the myth that people go Christmas caroling. I've never seen one person Christmas carol ever. That's not a thing that people actually do. They may have done it in like one time in like the 1800s. Some chick named Carol. Give it a rest, Carol. We're not going singing. And the number 1 thing for the Christmas edition of Damon's Daily 10, a candy cane the size of a pimp cane. I gotta say that totally again, right? A candy cane the size of a pimp's cane. Like a pimp with a candy cane that's totally big, or whatever. I don't know how to say these words together, but that's what it is. And that's it, man. That's it. I hope you guys are enjoying the low budget Christmas special. I know I am. Look at this fucking hat I'm wearing. I think it's a cool hat, but I'm mostly wearing it to hide my bald hair. Okay, so that's it. Let's go check out our interview with Michael Gull. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Low Budget Show. Joining me now is our guest for this week, Mr. Michael Gull. He is a comedian, writer, actor, and an escape room proprietor. How's it going, my man?
That's true. Pretty good. Pretty good. How are you?
I'm never better, and I'm enjoying it.
I'm enjoying that shirt.
Oh, thanks, man. I got this as a gift from my girlfriend's dad.
I love it.
The irony is the only boat I've ever been on is the Staten Island Ferry. So,
which looks nothing like that.
No, things suck. So I'm stuck in the house and I'm realizing how weird I am. You know, when did you get that realization?
When I was like 11, when the voices were louder than the people who were actually in the room. That's kind of when I caught on to it.
What was 11-year-old Michael Gull like?
Buck-toothed, long-haired, and just didn't know my place, would not shut up. Every report card said if Mikey would just spend a little less time trying to entertain everyone and a little more time on his homework. When I was a sophomore in high school, I was not down for just doing the school part of it, and I was just fucking around during class. Every day at the end of class, my biology teacher, he gave me 10 minutes of basically like stage time to just fuck around and do whatever shtick I was doing that day. I'd come in dressed like Squiggy from Laverne and Shirley, or I would do, he would just give me 10 minutes at the end of every class just to blow off steam. It was awesome.
I can't get 10 minutes on a show now anywhere. You know what I mean? I didn't quite have that kind of support. You know, I got suspended from elementary school.
What the fuck does a person do to get suspended from elementary school?
Well, I tripped the teacher.
Oh, so assault.
Yeah.
That was what it was. Okay.
I got in an argument with like the teacher about the word ain't. She was like, ain't isn't a word, Mr. Millard. And I was like, it's a fucking word. My mom says it all the time.
And it ends with you assaulting an elderly person.
I don't know if she was elderly. She's probably younger than I am now. Isn't that weird? Like when you think back to the people who were like the authority figures in your life, you still always picture them as older, but
Yeah. This occurred to me recently. I recently had a birthday. I turned 55. In Lethal Weapon, when Danny Glover's character, his famous line was, "I'm too old for this shit." He was 15 years younger than I am right now when he was too old for this shit. He was 40 when they made Lethal Weapon.
oh god. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm way, way too old for this shit. I'm at my day job. I run an escape room, and it's called Escape the Room, and we have like 25 locations around the country. And I am in right now one of our rooms called The Apartment.
Are they hard or not?
Oh, yeah. Oh, they're super hard. Yeah.
You got to be smart or what?
The people who do best are usually stoned. Like, for real. Like, drunk people will come in and they'll suck at it.
Yeah.
But if someone did a little smoking before they come in, it's that kind of thinking where it's sort of like, hey, maybe the clock isn't really a clock.
yeah.
And then they
yeah.
notice shit, and it turns out to be true.
How'd you come across that idea?
I had been managing a mattress store,
Yeah.
and I was in hell. It was terrible. And I'm a shitty salesperson. I can't sell anything. Like, I can talk and I can do the charming bullshit thing, but I tell the truth. So if someone comes into a mattress store and says, I have $500 to spend, you're supposed to try to sell them a $2,000 mattress.
Yeah.
I'll sell them a $400 mattress so they can go out to dinner later on.
Right.
And that's not how you succeed selling shit.
Spend your $100 on sheets now, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna need pillows, bro. I don't know if you thought about that.
And I was just going to get some bullshit bartending job and then go back on the road doing stand-up. I found this, and I came in here and interviewed, and it all worked out really well. And like, I'm Willy Wonka here. That's all this fucking job is I get to be Willy Wonka.
Yeah.
And it's perfect for me. It's the most perfect job I've ever had.
Like if you're gonna go do an escape room, how much of your night should you plan on doing?
It's like a 90-minute investment. The game itself takes 60 minutes.
Sweet. One time I did an escape room for 8 months, and my lawyer eventually got me out. Yeah.
Nice.
What was like the first acting you did, or like what was the first thing in the arts? Like
This is my life in a snapshot.
Let's do that.
I always come like this and then nothing. In the 80s, I started as a songwriter. And I was in bands and stuff like that. And I started writing songs for other bands.
you had really good hair, right?
I had great hair. Fucking
Yeah.
awesome hair. And I had a moderate amount of success. There was a band that I was writing songs for and with. And the lead singer of this band and I became best friends, and we started writing all their like original songs together. We recorded a bunch of songs. We must have recorded 100 songs that I still listen to on the CD in my car. When I'm feeling depressed, I drive around and cry and listen to my old music. And the music, our songs, got the attention of a guy named Sid Bernstein. He's the guy who brought the Beatles to America and set up the Shea Stadium concert for the Beatles in '64.
Oh shit.
He brought the Stones to America for the first time. He was instrumental in discovering George Carlin. Sid loved our stuff. He took out a full-page ad in the Sunday New York Times art section. Cost him $51,000. And it was announcing the unveiling of this band. He flew the band to England. They recorded, some of our songs, played at John Lennon's first wife's bar called Lennon's. Cynthia Lennon owned the bar there. Took us to New York, and the band was on CBS This Morning.
What's the name of this band?
It was called Ambush. They were a pretty successful local Milwaukee bar band, basically. Sid then made the band change their name to Skoric, because that was their last name. There were 4 brothers. 3 identical triplets, and 1 handsome younger lead singer and lead guitarist than the guy I wrote the songs with. That whole Sid thing fell apart. There were record deal offers and stuff like that, but the record company wanted Jeff, the lead singer, to kind of dump his brothers and be a solo act. And he's like, fuck you, no. And so they rescinded the offer, and within less than a year, the band broke up anyway. So Jeff and I moved to Nashville. to be songwriters. And I pissed that away and moved back to Milwaukee. Went back to school to be a cop.
Really?
And that's when I became a private investigator. I was a criminal defense investigator for years. After I failed in Nashville and came back here, I didn't do anything creative. And then I got a job at the Safe House as the door guy.
Oh.
And on Thursday nights, a guy named Tony Miller had an open mic there, and Brian Green was the star of that. I approached doing stand-up the same way I approach music. Like, you don't buy a guitar and then go to a bar and say, hey, give me a gig. You buy a guitar, you learn to play it, do some songs, then you go and you perform. You don't just perform because you have a guitar in your hand. So I spent a solid year sitting at the front desk writing material before I ever went on stage at this open mic. I took the open mic really serious. And I would practice in my car, and I decided I wasn't going to go up until I made myself laugh. So I had this little handheld tape recorder, and every Thursday night I'd be driving it, and I would say one of my bits into the tape recorder, and then I would play it back. And if I didn't laugh, I wasn't ready. And then one Thursday night I laughed, and I went there, and I seemed better than I should have, like, because I wrote for a year.
Yeah.
Like, most people who go to an open mic are like, I'm really funny at work, I should do comedy. So you go to an open mic and you say some of the stupid shit you say to your friends, right? And then you develop bits. I had a fucking half hour
Yeah.
before I ever went on stage. And that became my act. And Tony and Brian took me under their wing and the whole thing. And then they started bringing me on the road, and I started getting paying stuff. And then I went full time. And I was married at the time, and I lost the marriage over me being on the road. She got a boyfriend. She decided to start dating while I was on the road.
Sounds familiar.
I realized that doing the road, you reach sort of a ceiling if you don't have film or TV credits. What really put it into focus for me was Brian and I were doing this like tour around different places. We called it the Renegade Comedy Tour.
Right.
We had a falling out. And so I fired him from the Renegade Comedy Tour. And I got as his replacement.
Renegade enough.
Yeah. I got as his replacement Dustin Diamond, Screech from Saved by the Fucking Bell.
Right.
Who is not funny.
No, he's not.
In any context. But he's able to get paid to do stand-up. That's when I realized that it doesn't matter how good you are. Like, people just want to be in the room with someone that they perceive to be famous.
My girlfriend is an actor, and she's well known. She could call a club tomorrow and get a spot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I've been doing it for 11 years.
Yeah.
And I still send my emails into blackness.
But yeah, if you have any level of notoriety or fame or anything like that, like Cactus Jack is going to get me better. If stand-up ever comes back, I'll be able to headline. So in 2005, I decided that I didn't have any film credits, but I was gonna have some. So this was when MySpace was a thing. And I have this favorite guilty pleasure movie from the 80s called Tough Turf, which no one's ever heard of.
No.
Check it out. It's really bad.
He's a loner on a roll.
And it stars Robert Downey Jr. and James Spader, and they're like really young. It's one of my favorite movies. I know every line of it. One of the lead actresses, an actress named Olivia Barish. She was also on Little House on the Prairie back in the day. She was on the TV series Fame in the 80s. And she was like third lead in Tough Turf. And I sent her a message on MySpace because I was going to pretend I was in Tough Turf. And I was going to use that as a film credit to get better gigs. So I sent her a message, and it was all bullshit because I wasn't in Tough Turf. But I sent her this message, and I was like, I just want to say, after all these years, I'm glad I found you online. And I just want to say, during the making of this movie, I was a featured extra in Tough Turf, and you were the only one of the lead actors who was in any way nice to me. I remember you being really nice to me. And as God is my witness, I swear on the eyes of my children, she responded back, Michael, I remember you. I make it a habit to remember everyone I work with. And we became friends.
No way. This is awesome.
To this day, she doesn't know that I fucking wasn't in Tough Turf. Yeah. So I used that as a film credit until I got real film credits. And then in like 2007, I started actually being in stuff. I was on the Patrick Swayze series, The Beast, that was on A&E.
Yeah.
I did a Lifetime movie with Beau Bridges and Ann Archer, and just started being in these little indie films and stuff. When I did the Patrick Swayze show, it was, I don't know if you ever saw it, it was a horrible show. It was the last thing he did before he died. They shot it in Chicago. His doctor was there and all kinds of shit, right? And we were shooting at a hangar at the Gary Chicago airport. Here's the thing about Patrick Swayze. If you look up his height online, it says he's 5'10". Bullshit. I'm 5'8.5".
Yeah.
He was like this much shorter than me. And he was wearing cowboy boots.
Fucking Swayze, dude.
Yeah. He was like 5'6", tops. I played an FBI agent. And so I'm in like an FBI suit with a badge and a gun and shit. And Patrick Swayze is a renegade FBI agent who doesn't play by the rules and blah, blah, blah. So I keep sneaking out to go smoke because I smoke a lot of cigarettes. And I'm sneaking out and I'm going back behind the hangar in between takes of shit, right? And I see him seeing me do this after like 3 or 4 times. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm getting fired. This guy's got cancer and I'm like smoking cigarettes. He's going to have me fired.
Yeah.
Like the 4th or 5th time I went out to have a cigarette behind the hangar, I hear the click, click of his cowboy boots coming. And I'm standing there and I'm just terrified. And I'm just smoking my Camel Light. And I see him look around the corner and he goes, that's what I thought. Give me one.
Oh, shit.
And I say, because I'm a dick, should you be? I mean, and he says, without missing a beat, pancreatic cancer ain't got me yet. I figured I'd give lung cancer a shot. So we became smoking buddies.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't really talk about anything. We would just stand there against the back of the building.
Silent.
Smoking cigarettes. Yeah. And he'd be like, thanks. And he'd go back to the fucking set. So I contributed to the untimely death of Patrick Swayze. I've lived like 4 lifetimes, man.
I know.
Yeah.
It's cool. I think me and you have that same thing because, like, I end up just in random spots. Like, I have, because I throw my entire life into the wind and I'm like, just take it wherever it goes, that I end up in like weird spots meeting weird people.
Yeah. Like a plastic shopping bag, just kind of like wherever you land.
You got a film coming out January titled Cactus Jack.
Yeah. Jay and Chris Thornton, who write novels and they write TV shows and films and stuff like that. They approached me in late 2015 and they said, hey, how about you do this movie and you'd be perfect for it? And they described this character to me. He's the worst person ever. He's racist, misogynistic, homophobic, but he's everything phobic, everything ist. I was kind of complimented by it. I was flattered that they said I could do it. And then on the other hand, I was a little insulted that they thought I could pull it off. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
you know who would be a really good racist in this movie? Michael Gull.
Yeah,
I was thinking Michael Gull.
And then we started shooting in December of 2016, December 1st. It was just in my Facebook memories that day one of principal photography. It has taken 4 years. We ended principal photography the end of December of 2017. Then they had an epiphany that they were going to change the whole movie.
Okay.
So we had to shoot a bunch of extra stuff in 2018 and then 2019. And the problem was, when we started filming the movie, I weighed 127 pounds. I had gained roughly 50 pounds.
What?
Yeah, I weigh 183 right now.
Holy shit.
Dude, I'm fat as fuck. It's awesome. I eat everything. So we had to shoot around the fact that I had gained 50 pounds. There's a part where I'm whipping a guy who's chained to a wall. That's me 50 pounds heavier. You can see my big ass gut. And I had also gotten my teeth fixed in the meantime. So we couldn't show my face and we couldn't really show my body. It was weird because we had a lot more to shoot.
It would almost make more sense to start over, right?
Yeah, but part of what they wanted was my fucked up teeth. I had been wanting to get my teeth fixed for a long time, and I got into a car accident in 2014 and got an airbag smashed in my face.
Fuck.
And knocked out the 4 front bottom teeth and also loosened my top teeth, which already had gaps in between. They weren't pretty.
Right.
And they started like separating. And then they started like getting really loose. And I was like, dude, I got to get my teeth fixed. And they were like, no. The hideous teeth are perfect for this character. Just let it ride.
Yeah, right.
So we made a deal where at the end of them shooting my face, and the last day we had to do that, I pulled one of my fucking teeth out with a needle nose pliers.
Oh yeah.
And in exchange for them paying for the new face.
Ah.
Yeah. So that was part of my compensation for the movie, was getting normal people teeth.
What was this epiphany?
So originally it was just going to be shown. It was going to just be a narrative film about this guy who has an internet radio show, or like an internet web show, and he fucking hates everybody. And he lives in his mom's basement.
That's the best ones too.
Yeah. And he calls into radio shows all the time and is like, yeah, get these N-words out of here and blah, blah, blah. It takes place in the weeks leading up to the 2016 election. It's really prophetic. The stuff we shot like 3-4 years ago, the things he says are going to happen are happening now.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And then Jay and Chris had this epiphany that, what if instead of that, it's a found footage documentary? It was just me. The whole fucking movie was just me. And I find myself really fascinating, but I don't know that I'm an hour and a half alone fascinated. So they added a character. We added this documentary filmmaker. Basically, the story is that this documentary filmmaker, he hears that this guy has not left his basement in 6 months, not even to go upstairs and take a shit. And this guy is like, oh, I'm going to do a little documentary about this loser sitting in his basement, jerking off, playing video games. And he gets there, and it's just, the guy I play is just the fucking devil.
Why are you here?
I just thought it was really interesting, that someone hasn't left their basement in 6 months, not even to use the bathroom. Is that true?
Why would I want to go out there? I got everything I need right here. That's what's wrong with most people. They're weak-willed pussies and parasites who buy into that whole "it takes a village" bullshit. You know how many aliases I've used calling into radio shows?
I've had it up to my goddamn gills with the systematic feminization of this country.
There's some disconnect there, and if I can find it, what is hate? Where does it come from? Where does it go?
Liberal fucktard. Enough with the parades and the rainbow flags.
Dude, this guy's, it's like pure hate, man.
I want to see something really fucking cool.
He's got himself on a leash. He's itching to get off that fucking leash. And he's gonna fucking kill some people.
What a fucking show.
Jack, you're gonna love this.
So as you can see, it's a reboot of Mary Poppins. Really looking forward to people liking it. It's going to make me completely unemployable in any aspect other than as an actor. We're getting traction in Australia, in Ireland. People are like all over the world are like writing these pieces about like, this thing's coming out and it's really cool. And they're showing the trailer and showing the poster and stuff. So people are going to see it. And
Yeah.
I won't be able to run an escape room anymore and have you bring your family here.
Yeah.
And
Like, hey, do you want to go to this Nazis escape room? What's it like to have to put yourself into this guy that I'm guessing you don't like in real life?
it was really hard because there was no real script. They scripted my stuff that I said, but it was very open-ended, very fluid. And I would show up on set and I had no idea what was going to be happening. I didn't know what I was saying. I'd never seen my lines before. And I would have to just do this. And he physically does some horrifying things as well, not just words. And it was just really, it got in my head. It fucks you up. Like normally I'd play a bad guy just running around with a gun and just being all menacing and being like, oh yeah.
Yeah. Give me the briefcase. But this was different, right? This guy has some layers.
Just to fuck you up more. You're watching this thing. They gave him a little bit of humanity. Like we shot a few scenes where he's reflecting on his father when he was a kid and on his mother. And he was like heavily abused. For a couple minutes during this thing, you're like, oh, wait a minute. This guy's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But you can kind of see where it comes from, because people like that don't come from a vacuum. The people like that are made. Hate is manufactured.
Is that kind of like the point? Like these people?
Yeah, that is the point. It's a horror movie. All the outlets that are writing pieces on it and showing our trailer and stuff are horror. Most of them are horror outlets. It's like horror of rhetoric and horror of ideas and horror of, there is a scary monster, but he's real and he could live next door to you, and that's the whole point.
Yeah.
And when we started making this thing 4 years ago, he was extreme. Now, this is how people fucking talk.
Guy is here and he has internet access.
Yeah. I think it's really good. And it's certainly different from anything, because that's all I wanted to do was be a character actor. I mean, I'm proud of the work that I did, but and obviously people are smart enough where they're not going to think that I'm like that. It's a movie.
Yeah.
But at the same time, back in the 70s, when All in the Family was on, a lot of people really liked Archie Bunker, and they didn't realize that he was making fun of people like that. They thought he was the hero of the piece.
Yeah.
So that's like a concern. Like, will people understand that this is like...
Yeah, you might get invited to some meetings you don't want to go.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Cactus Jack, the film, comes out Inauguration Day, January 20th. Where can people find it?
By going to cactusjackfilm.com. You can buy tickets to the premiere, the virtual premiere. The following evening, the 21st, we're having a live Q&A with myself and the filmmakers and the producer. And that's all being sponsored by the Twisted Dreams Horror Film Festival. They're just awesome guys taking care of all of it. And the film is available through cactusjackfilm.com as well for a reduced price of $5 up until the release. And then after that, you can still get it for $7.99.
Sweet. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining me, Michael. It's great to see you again. Thank all of you guys for joining us. We will be back again very soon. That's it for the Low Budget Show. Thanks again. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank you.
The Low Budget Show with Damon Millard.
I still love ya.